This is gonna be so fun, babes. Oh my God, I'm like legit so excited. So we're gonna go through book stuff, okay? I have loved reading for a long time. I'll talk a little bit more in depth about like my story with reading and everything. Loved it for a long time, obsessed with it. I also have ADHD and get in very like hyperfixated cycles where I can think of nothing else but one stupid little thing, and it's my whole personality and everything I think about. I am kind of exiting a little blip of that I've had recently, but I recently have been very hyper fixated on book related stuff. So I wanted to walk through my bookshelf because I want to go through something called my physical TBR, which is the physically owned books that I need to read still, because TBR is to be read. Because I have a significant amount of books that I own and have not yet read. I've kind of put myself on a book buying ban, sort of. We'll circle back to that. And I haven't been to the library in a really long time either. I literally just got an email from my library, I think today or yesterday, that my card is gonna expire. We have to go in and like renew it every single year. I don't know if that's normal. I don't remember doing that when I was a kid with the library card, but I've had to do it ever since I lived here with my adult library card, and that's fine. But it's been so long. I don't think I've checked out a book physically from the library in the last year, and I want to go back and do it. I still need the active account for my audiobook access because I use, what's the app called? Is it called Libby? I think it's called Libby. I use Libby and I listen to audiobooks a lot when I'm walking my dog or driving to work or like doing chores or whatever. I love audiobooks. So I still need my membership, my library access, and I want to get back to the library. So my recent hyperfixation has been getting through my physically owned books. Okay, so let's talk briefly. I actually don't think that I need to harp on this. I forget exactly when this happened, but at some point since moving here, so in the last 4-ish years, I really got back into reading. I loved reading as a kid, but then it became a very like academic thing and I lost interest, and I didn't even really read books that were assigned to me in school because I'm terrible. But I do remember the time that I loved to read. So I always had like this want and desire to get back into reading, and one year I made a New Year's resolution to read 12 books that year. And I think I started exploring the world of audiobooks around this time, so my goal was to at least physically read 6 books. So every month I wanted to have one done, and 6 of them had to be physical. I said that really weird, but physically read books, and 6 of them could be audiobooks. Anyway, I kind of flopped on that goal for the first few months of the year. I don't think I read anything for 2 or 3 months, but then like March, April, May, somewhere around there, I started getting the ball rolling, and I ended up reading over 150 books that year. I went crazy. So that's where the love of reading kicked off. And I started off with mostly just romance, but now I'm kind of like interested in anything. I love thrillers, I love fantasy, especially romantasy, and I own a lot of that, so that's most of what you're gonna be seeing here in a minute. I think I said thriller already. I love sci-fi. I really want to get more into sci-fi because I feel like every time I explore sci-fi, I'm obsessed. But like, I just don't feel like I have the confidence to figure out what in the sci-fi world to explore. So anyway, we're gonna go through what's behind me, what I've read, what I haven't, what my like priority reads are, like how I want to go about tackling this bookshelf, and then I will be doing an unboxing with you here later. I don't have it with me yet, so it'll be on another day, but I did order some more books, but we'll talk about that when it becomes relevant, which will be towards the end of this bookshelf. All right, so we're gonna go shelf by shelf. I'm gonna raise you up. You lift me up. Okay, this is as tall as I can get you. I also don't know if you can see me anymore. Okay, I don't know if you can see me anymore. Can you see me? Hi, I'm short, okay. I'm actually 5'3½", so that's kind of short, right? This is my prized possession, my Sarah J. Maas shelf. So I started off reading the ACOTAR series. Now, I'm ashamed of this because look how beautiful the rest of this is. My lovely fiance, Dan, that I've been with since 2012, bought me all of these, and he got me beautiful hardcover, like box set lovely editions of these books. So I think this was given to me for a birthday and this was given to me for an anniversary. I don't remember, but now I need to replace these because they look dingy. And also it infuriates me that these are different sizes. Can you believe? Like, it's so upsetting. But yeah, I first read the ACOTAR series and loved it, of course. I'm freaking crazy about especially this last book. I mean, of course, the Mist and Fury book, of course, but I'm a Nesta girly. I cried while reading this, which is weird. I'm not like an emotional person. I do not cry, but it was so good. And then I just actually somewhat recently finished my Throne of Glass series. I think I started this last spring or summer, and I definitely took breaks in between the books. Like, I would read one or two in the series and then jump to something else and then come back. But I did just recently wrap up the last book of this series within the last month, and it was like tragic, and I feel a loss in my heart still. And I'm so excited to reread this someday, but like, it's gonna be a big commitment and we need to like not prioritize that. We need to do some of this other work first. I've not yet read the Crescent Siri, what? Can you hear my laundry? I'm finishing my laundry right now. That's my dryer doing a cute little jingle. I have to go fold that and it's gonna suck. I have not yet read the Crescent City series. It is something I'm prioritizing, but I get a little bit, I don't know why I do this. I get a little bit anxious and intimidated by these thicker books. I know from experience that I end up loving thicker books like this, but like the act of having to start something that I know is gonna take me a million years, and beyond that, having to hold it in my little baby hands is dramatic, but like I have weak little hands, okay? These will hurt my hands. So I'm intimidated to start this, but it is coming soon because I need to. That's that on that. Okay, beautiful. Now we're at another, well, every single shelf is a prized possession shelf. Let's be so for real. Okay, I think I'll go to this side because there's a little bit more space. Speaking of thick books that intimidate me, I actually picked this up at Barnes & Noble one day, kind of on a whim. Like, it was a total impulse. I think I saw it on one of the display tables and I joked to Dan, I was like, that's so big, should I buy it just because I'm crazy? And he was like, yes. But then there was an employee nearby that was like, girl, actually, yes, you should buy this. It's so freaking good. And I think I read the back, I don't even remember it. And I don't know what came over me, but I decided to take it and bring it home. And at some point I braved starting it. It's like 1,000 pages or something. I don't know. It took me a while, but I was obsessed with this. And it was more on the fantasy side, way less of a romance plot. Like, it had romance, but it's not a romantasy like some of the Sarah J. Maas things. Not that Throne of Glass is a little more fantasy than romantasy, but there's definitely like a lot of romance going on in there. I was obsessed with this, okay? Like, I loved it so much that once the prequel to this book was announced, I pre-ordered it. And that is this one. It's this one. And actually, spoiler, you can see that there's a bookmark in here right now. I actually just started this the other night. I did not get very far because I've been reading other things lately and they've taken much less brain power than this has. So I have not made it very far because I have been a little bit worn out. I was just sick recently and I feel like I'm needing things that are easy on the mind. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, I was so frustrated because there was like one solid week where I was like very sick and I could not read that week. It was so upsetting. And I was watching TV and movies and stuff like that, but I couldn't even watch anything new because my brain just like could not be motivated to stick with the plot. So I was like rewatching old stuff. Like, I watched the Scooby-Doo movies, which were fire. That was really fun. And then I watched like some of the Step Up dance movies from way back in the day, and that was really fun too, let's be honest. But like, I couldn't read or do anything, and like, I feel like I'm still coming out of that fog. But I'm here for this and I'm ready to read it. I'm ready for the commitment. I'm excited. It was just hard the other night when I started. I'm like, what is going on? It took a lot of thinking, but it'll be fine. We'll get to it. Whoa, I did not mean to talk about that long. I won't pull out all of these, but then we have Assistant to the Villain. This is more what my brain needs right now. This is like, reads very light and easy breezy. Like, it reads a little bit, well, I think it is YA, like young adult. It's very fun, very cutesy. The second book is out, but I haven't bought it yet. I think I was avoiding buying the special edition cover because it wouldn't match this one, or maybe only the hardcover was out for a while or something, which I wouldn't buy it for the same reason. I don't remember. Sorry, my air just kicked on. It's very loud. So many distractions. But yeah, I do want to read the second one, but I just haven't got it yet. I'll buy it at some point. Then these two are kind of, again, along the lines of the same time period that I bought Priory of the Orange Tree that I was obsessed with. They were kind of just like impulse fantasy purchases. I think this one was highlighted in Barnes & Noble as like, if you loved, I think, Fourth Wing, to pick this up. And I don't even think I had read Fourth Wing at the time, so like that was a weird choice. That was weird. But I don't even remember what came over me to buy that one. But anyway, they are also priority, but lower so than the prequel year or the Present City series. Like, I do want to read these, but I don't know as much about them. I'm sure I'll enjoy them since I'm enjoying fantasy so much, but like a little bit lower on the priority list. Then I have all three that are out currently of the Fourth Wing. What is it actually called? It's called something else. It's called like the Imperium or something. The Imperium series? Is that? I don't know why I'm not even seeing that. Girl. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. Why does it not say it? That's weird. I don't know. Anyway, I did read all these. I enjoyed all of them. I don't know. A lot of people are talking about it right now, so I won't talk about it myself, but like I had a great time. Now, this is where things get shameful again. I enjoy T.J. Klune, actually. So like, I loved The House in the Cerulean Sea book. These are all T.J. Klune, obviously. And I know that the second book is out of that now. I didn't know there was gonna be a second book, so I was surprised to see that. But I think it's the same reason I haven't bought the second of The Assistant to the Villain. I think only like special edition and or hardcovers are out right now. So I will purchase the second book at some point and read it, obviously. Anyway, there's been other books I know I've read from T.J. Klune, like on audio or maybe from the library. But I bought all these not knowing anything about them, okay? Like this one I think is a more popular book of his or hers. I actually have no idea what TJ stands for. But I haven't read it yet, don't know why. And then I bought freaking 3 books in a series I know nothing about, which is crazy behavior. Yeah, no, I don't even really have anything more to say about that. I do want to read them. But like, why did I buy 3 books in a series that I don't know anything about? Why did I do that? I almost bought the 4th book recently. Like I saw it listed, because these are all like Barnes & Noble special edition and something or other. I don't know what's special about them, but like I saw the 4th one listed somewhere and I almost bought it. And then I had to like have a sit down with myself like, Casey, what are you doing? So I didn't buy it, but like, what's wrong with me? Anyway, this one's funny. This one's Thorn Hedge. TJ, I did that to myself. It's confusing. T. Kingfisher. Do I know how to speak? I don't know. This author's so interesting. They have like very odd fantasy types of books. I don't know why this is the only one I own, but I think it's like a Sleeping Beauty retelling, and it's very short. So it was funny because actually somewhat recently, in the last like maybe 6 months, I sat down to read this, and as I was reading it, I was like, why does this feel so familiar? And it wasn't until I like went to go log it on my Goodreads, which I'll link below, that I was like, oh, I've already read this whole thing before. Like, what's, what? It was just really weird. So, yeah. Okay, now these two, Spinning Silver and Wildwood Magic, are other ones. Again, I don't know that much about them and why I own them. I don't know what's going on there. Actually, I do know Wildwood, I don't have a clue why I bought Spinning Silver, but Wildwood Magic, I just kept looking at the cover of this book, and it's just like so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. And I stared at it so many shopping trips that one day I was just like, okay, you have to buy it. And then I didn't read it. I feel like it's giving a fall vibe, so I think I'm gonna read it this fall. I also have the first Dune book. I need to get the rest. I read it after I watched the first 2 Dune movies, and that was not the optimal experience, I would say. I would recommend reading it before watching it, because the whole time I was reading it, I'm like annoyed right now because I already know what's like gonna happen next. So that was silly. I don't know what happens in the other books, so I would like to read those. And then hiding back here, I have Ninth House and Hellbent. I actually bought these last spring. I was in a trip in Phoenix for a friend's 30th birthday, and we went to this cute bookshop there, and I knew I wanted to read these, and now it's been, you know, almost a year later and I still haven't. It's on the priority list, kind of. I mean, okay, right now the list is looking like first is the prequel, because I've already started it, first of all, and then Crescent City, and then I think it will be the Ninth House Hellbent, and then some of these TJ Klune, some of these, and then these, you know, like as far as we've gone so far anyway. Okay, that is shelf 2. All right, here's my next shelf. Now you're a little bit low, so I'm gonna kind of have to duck a little bit. We have a little bit more decor than anything else because this shelf's not very full yet. I have a candle that is sweet, so I will not be smelled. Actually, wait, it says Sangria Sunset. Is it fruity? Oh my god, wait, it's fruity. I could totally light that. Let's light this candle. Okay, sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me. I have some Lego decor. I have this really adorable, like, chunky cat from my future mother-in-law. It was something that she had in, like, I think a guest bedroom recently that I noticed. I said something about it or something similar to it, and she gave me one as a gift for the next holiday, which was so cute. And then I need to get a frame. This is a family picture back here of my immediate family. So we got, obviously, it's me and Dan, and then my parents, one of my brothers, Joey, the youngest one, and his child, Drew. And then we've got my other brother. They're both younger brothers, so this one's older and this one's younger, but they're both younger than me. Justin and his fiance, Marlies. So I need to get this framed. It's very cute. Here I have just, it's kind of random. It's giving random. These are so cute. What words am I looking for? There is an Instagram page that at some point I was obsessed with, and they're like these alien, my dog is awake, cartoons that are just like kind of goofy and make fun of the human experience. And I was always sharing these like Instagram drawings, and they obviously have these little books. So Dan bought me these, and they're just very cute. They were like coffee table books for me for a while. Now they're just kind of here. And then some of these are thrillers. So I have A Certain Hunger, which is like creepy vibes. It's like, which one was this? This one was, she's like a food critic, but she also like kills men and eats them. So that was like an interesting ride that we went on. Strange Sally Diamond, another thriller. Colleen Hoover, this is the only Colleen Hoover I own. Verity. You Shouldn't Have Come Here. That one's fun. I want to read more from this author. I have You, which is that Netflix show. It's the first book of the series. I think I've read all of the books potentially, unless there's more out that I don't know about. They do start going away from the like the show and the books go in separate directions at some point. So I don't know, that was interesting, but I think the book was pretty much the same. I don't remember. This was one of the first books I owned and read. Tender is the Flesh, that's freaking creepy. It's about like all animals are suddenly no longer safe for consumption, and they start growing humans to be meat instead. And that was a wild ride. Trust No One, this one is another early one for me too, but I think it was another thriller where it's like a man losing his memory and we're not sure what to believe. Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I haven't read the whole like series, but I've read this one. I got very upset because, content warning, a dog dies in this book. So I will never forgive it. I probably will never watch the TV show or finish the series or buy anything else from the author. It really bothered me. Cackle from Rachel Harrison. This was just like so cozy. Like it was all about a witch, but it was just like cozy vibes and so fun. And I've actually read a few audiobooks from this author, and I've had a really good time with them too. Like I think it was supposed to be more of a thriller, and I think most of her books are kind of a thriller, but they're not like that scary or anything. At least nothing I'm remembering currently right now. Bunny, it's like a weird girl book. I haven't read this yet. This one I do want to knock out at some point. It doesn't look like it's going to be that long or take me too much time and effort, but for whatever reason I've just kind of procrastinated on it. I'll come back to this one. Legends and Lattes, these are so fun. I have had so much fun with these books. So they're kind of like following this particular person. It's the same person in both of these books. This is a prequel, so it's kind of things that happened before the story. But this one's kind of about like Dungeons and Dragons, what happens after like the, what's it called? Like after the like the jobs, like once you retire and you're done with like the exploration and, you know, the fighting and all of that, like what happens next. So it's about this girl who goes to settle down in a town and open a coffee shop, and it's so fun and cute and like cozy fantasy. And I enjoyed these so much that I'm like, I think I would like more cozy fantasy books, which is why I bought this other one, Can't Spell Treason Without T. Sounds very cozy. I just haven't read it yet. This thing I don't even remember acquiring. I don't know. It came with my, we'll come to this later, but Book of the Month subscription. It came in one of those boxes. I don't remember if I asked for it specifically. I have, well, at least I don't think I've read it. I don't remember if I have. I know they have other like little pamphlets like this that you can add onto boxes, but I just haven't checked any of these out yet. Now you can't see it back here very well, but there is one more book called Apples Never Fall, and it's kind of like a family drama thriller type of vibe that I had a lot of fun with. And as a little plus, so basically we're following a group of siblings that I think the plot centers around like the mom has gone missing and we're not sure what happened to her, and the dad is kind of looking suspicious, and just like we're unraveling a ton of family drama while we're looking for mom. And one of the daughters lives with migraine, and it was just very interesting to see her story and see that experience highlighted and get that representation. All right, you're even lower now. I'm not really sure how to interact with this. This is mostly my romance shelf, and then I have some nonfiction over here as well. So starting over here because I find it less fun, my family actually gifted me these books by Tony Robbins. They're about finances. And as you can see, there's a bookmark in one of them. I have just been so bad about finishing these. I actually have a vision. I'm going to go through this. I have an audiobook download of it as well, so that'll help me race through it. It's just hard because I'm not naturally drawn to nonfiction in general, but also like I don't find money to be very interesting. So it's hard for me to get through these topics, but I do want to. Okay, let me just like kneel down over here. And then I have Train Your Brain, which kind of like self-help-esque type of book, which I read at some point. I don't really remember very much. I think it was gifted to me by a business coach. Brain Wider Than the Sky. This is about somebody who lives with migraine, and he kind of discusses his experience with migraine, and I think gives some anecdotes about people in history and maybe famous people that have migraine as well, or like are theorized to be people that have lived with migraine. Yeah, this was one of the first books once I started my reading journey that I went through, and it was sluggish for me to get through because again, it's nonfiction, so I wasn't naturally as interested in the topic, but it was, you know, a very interesting read, of course. Then I have How to Heal Your Headache, or it's just called Heal Your Headache. I haven't read this yet, but as a registered dietitian nutritionist with migraine, I do get asked about that general topic because he has the whole How Heal Your Headache diet protocol, which I've talked about in the past, but at some point I would like to read through this and get a little bit more context. Then I have Intuitive Eating, which I think I picked up when I was studying to be a registered dietitian nutritionist, or maybe got it at one of my internship locations. And back here in the back, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which has a little barcode on it that reminds me that I'm pretty sure I bought it for a course in college. Like I had to. It was like assigned reading, which that seems like a weird one to be assigned in class, but like I said, I didn't really read anything I was assigned in school, so I don't know if I've actually read that. Okay, now over to the remotes. I actually have a couple hiding behind these. I don't know why I did this, but I have a couple of the Bridgerton books because I forget if I started reading these before or after I started watching the show, but this is one of those situations where the show's better. The show is just simply better. So I've read quite a few of this series. Most of them I did on audio, but I just wasn't obsessed with these, and maybe I'm hiding them back here out of shame. I don't remember. Let's see. So I've read, I think, most of these. Hating Game was another early one. 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I think this was the first one I read that I was like, oh, I'm obsessed with this, actually. And like kicked off the like, let's read 150 books in a couple months kind of thing. This one was really good, and I really love Taylor Jenkins Reid. I haven't read all of her books. I think I have like this fear of running out of the books that she's written, and then there's no more Taylor Jenkins Reid books to read, but that's kind of silly. So I think we need to get over that and just get back to the last few things that she's written and read them. You know what I mean? I have The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang, and I think it's the first of like a trilogy. I've read the rest of them, I just only own the first one. I've not yet read The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson. She has the same last name as I do, so I'm naturally a little bit fond of the author, but I don't know. For whatever reason, I'm not feeling drawn to that book, but I'll read it at some point. I have this Selection, which is a cute little YA, like dystopian romance thing that's giving like The Bachelor / Hunger Games type of energy. It was so easy to read. It's not just one book, there's like a series, but I only owned the first book, and I think at the front, like the cover's so pretty. So pretty. Taylor Jenkins Reid again, Malibu Rising. And then this one I have not yet read. It's 7 Days in June. It's a romance, so it's covering two people, and the girly here lives with migraine. And I remember I was listening to the audiobook, and I did not get very far into it, and I was just like so wowed at the representation and felt so deeply connected with how the author was describing this character's experience with migraine that I was like, I have to buy the book. But then I've been scared to read the book ever since. So motivate me to read this. I know it's a really good romance. I hear that people love it. I've just been scared to read it because of that migraine representation, and I just feel like it's gonna destroy me. So I'm not ready for that. Then I have this Soulmate Equation. That was a fun read. Song of Achilles, that was really good. This one's like my favorite book of all time, Abby Jimenez, Yours Truly. Such a good book. I'll actually link my video where I talk about 3 romance books. What was that book? That's the video called? Like the ones that were most representative of me, or like my top 3 books that made me feel the most seen. This was one of them. Such a good book. So I talk about it more there. These 2 are the first in a series, the Magnolia Park series, and I'm also intimidated by series because it feels like a commitment. So I have not yet read these, but I really do want to. And then of course finish up the series if I do like it, but I'm dragging my feet on that one. This one looks so fun. The Fiancé Farce by Alexander Belfleur, right? I can't read upside down or sideways or whatever, Belfleur. Yeah. I read some other books by this author, and I loved her writing and the way she described her characters and the romance, and I'm excited to read this, and I love a sapphic book, so it'll be really fun. I just haven't done it yet. I love this little quote at the front too. It says, Belfleur writes as if she's captured fairy lights in a mason jar, twinkly and lovely within something solid yet fragile. Like, that sounds beautiful. Anyway, Addicted to You, it's the first in a series as well, and I've not yet read it for the same reason I haven't read Magnolia Parks. Then I have this book, The Do-Over by Lynn Painter, which is set in like... Hello? Sorry, I got interrupted. It's set in a high school setting, young characters, but it's like a Groundhog Day type of story where she keeps waking up and reliving the same day, and I love that kind of thing. Like, I'm a sucker for it. So I've actually read that book twice because it's set on Valentine's Day. So the first time I read it, I don't remember when, but after I bought it, because actually it has really cute sprayed edges, like, oh my gosh, so cute. I read it on Valentine's Day the next time. Alrighty, so this I call my book of the month shelf, and it is primarily my book of the month books. I have a couple other ones over here. This was, again, one of the first ones I owned before I really got back into reading, because I did read the Twilight Saga when I was a kid, but at some point I bought Midnight Sun, which is, I think, Twilight from Edward's point of view. I don't remember anymore. Anyway, I also have this, which was given to me, one of those like mystery things where your book, you buy a book and it's like wrapped up and it has kind of a vague thing about what it's about, and I think it was something about sisters and a historical setting. Like, I forget exactly what the blurb was. I wasn't ready to read it when I opened it, but I have not read this yet. I don't remember this. It's one of my older books, so I think I read it years and years and years ago. I've read everything else except for this one, so that's really exciting. These are all book of the month, which is a monthly subscription that they like have highlighted like 5 books that you can choose from at the beginning of the month, and you pay like a lower fee for a hardcover book and get it shipped to you. And it's usually like an early release or like a special edition, or like, I don't know, they've been like sourced, and you know what kind of genre and stuff it's going to be when you're getting into it to make that selection. But anyway, I have kind of like a lot of variety here. Like I have some romance, I have a thriller, 2 thrillers. This is a sci-fi thriller, another Abby Jimenez. It's same series as the Yours Truly one I mentioned in the shelf above. This one I did not love, which it was the first one from the Book of the Month boxes that I was like, wait, I didn't like this, so that was a bummer. But another romance. This one was so fun because, first of all, look at the color and like the energy here. It was about like a girl group, like band, fiction, obviously, but set in the 90s or the 2000s. Yeah, an addictive coming of age story that follows the, meteoric rise of pop star Amber Young as she navigates fame and self-discovery in the late 90s and early 2000s, which, like, if you want to know something about me, it's that I love the early thousands pop scene. So that was fun. That was a fun time. Very nostalgic. Even though it was all fake, obviously. Another thriller. This one was another one that I read recently, and that's when I kind of got into my hyperfixated, like, let's read all of my physically owned books, was when I finished this and then started this. I don't know why it's in the order it is, but I didn't love this one either, but I was also sick-ish at the time and kind of irritable. So I don't know if it's my fault or if it's their fault, you know? Heartless Hunter. This is where I get into trouble. I'll come back to this. I read this and I was obsessed with it, but we'll talk about it more in a sec. So this is another thriller that it was like a murder mystery thing. I actually talked about it in another video briefly, but basically, like, we have 2 parents who work in like law enforcement, and they are at their teenage daughter's play from school, and they have to get called away to be like there to assess a murder scene, and it was their teenage daughter's best friend. So like that was terrible, obviously, but then later on in the evening their daughter goes missing, and then more people in the town are murdered, and it's like a whole thing. So it was interesting, but not really my genre, I don't think. This is sci-fi, very popular sci-fi, and I had a really good time reading that. I just finished this recently, and it was kind of depressing. It was very much about domestic abuse. So that was like obviously not a fun read, but it was a very interesting read. This one I haven't read quite yet because I'm like highly anticipating it, and I'm worried I have my hopes up too high because it's a sci-fi and a romance. So I'm like expecting to like obsess over it, and I'm scared it's gonna let me down. But anyway, once I read this, it's a romantasy basically about a witch and a witch hunter, and there's a little bit more context that would be helpful to know. But basically, I read it and I had so much fun with it that I was like, I want to read the next one. And I looked it up, and the next one came out late February of this year, which was around the time that I had read this first book. And it was available in Book of the Month as an add-on book. So for March, I was like, I'm gonna buy it, okay? I'm gonna buy it. And so I went to go add it onto my box, but the way it works is that you need to have like a box selection to get the shipment, and then you add a book to the box. So I had to pick a selection from the month, and like I said, I've been kind of on a book buying ban, so I've not been picking something up every month lately. So I had to make a month selection. I added on the second book of this, which I'm so excited to read. And then there was actually another additional offer, which we'll talk about when I'm opening the box later. But I have 3 books coming my way to add to the shelf. So that's why this book got me into trouble. There is another shelf underneath here, but it is mostly just like textbook, cooking, like recipe books, stuff like that. So we won't go over that because that's not nearly as interesting. But I hope you had fun. We will check in again later when I get that Book of the Month box and show it to you. I forgot that I did not go through my Kindle with you. So I have a Kindle e-reader that I don't use a ton lately. Like I kind of go through these different spurts of like what I'm most interested in reading, like the way that I'm most interested in reading. I just still use it regularly, and like I went on a vacation early in February and this was all I brought, and maybe we could go through the books that I've downloaded onto my Kindle. That might be fun. So I'm gonna move you and we will go through that. Okay, so look at this cute freaking sticker. It's from a board game. This is from Phoenix. Then these are just from a set of something else, and this is from Book of the Month. Anyway, let's open it up. And I have had a Kindle Unlimited subscription in the past. I don't actively have one, and my future sister-in-law, I never know, my fiance's family is basically in-laws at this point, told me about how she did a Kindle Unlimited subscription, but then downloaded all 20 books and then canceled the subscription afterward and put her Kindle on airplane mode, which I'm not sure that that's like legal, obviously, but I was like, oh my God, I should do that. And I accidentally paid for another month around that time I heard that story anyway. So I went ahead and I downloaded all the books, and it's been on airplane mode ever since. So I'm not able to read like anything I would download from my library, because I can do ebooks from my app into this as well, or like anything I buy on my Kindle. I'm not able to read it until I turn off of airplane mode, but I want to get through the things that are on here first. So I have read some of these at the top. This is a romantasy series. I don't know why the art's not populating. I don't know why the art's not there, but I read the first two. I think there's 4 total here, and the second 2 were not available on Kindle Unlimited, but I was really interested to read the second 2. So once I'm able to take this off airplane mode, I'm gonna download those ebooks from my library, because these were just so fun, romantasy vibes. Like I had a really good time with those. Then this one, you can see the percentage here at the top, 35. I just like, and I don't know why the art's not there, but like I just could not be bothered about this story. It was like weird. There's this trend with some romance right now, especially dark romance, where it's kind of supposed to be written like a rom-com. And like I understand the appeal and I find it interesting, but like this is about this dark and twisted guy who's like in a motorcycle gang and like murders people or whatever, and then this like sheltered rich girl. And it's supposed to be like a dark romance rom-com vibe, but like I just like wasn't getting it. So I just could not care less about these characters. And around the 35% mark, there was like this spicy scene that was just like so unhinged to me, and I was like, I can't do it anymore. So I'm DNFing it. Which means did not finish. I'm not gonna finish that book. Then I read this thriller, The Eyes Are the Best Part, which is about like this, I think, Korean family that moved to America, and then the dad ends up leaving the family, and the mom like kind of spirals and like is very sad, obviously, and kind of plants the seed into her daughter's mind about fish eyes, and like how she used to eat the fish eyes for good luck in her culture as she was growing up. And it was really more so like just a cultural thing, and maybe a financial, like they weren't very wealthy, so like they had to make use of everything they have potentially kind of thing. But like it plants this seed in the daughter's mind. So then the mom ends up dating this American guy, and the daughter ends up being very obsessed with the idea of eating his blue eyes, and it's like so creepy and unhinged, and I had such a good time reading it. It was so fun. Then there was this Lessons in Sin, which is another dark romance book. It was about a priest and then like a civilian or whatever, but it was also like an age gap thing. So he was a priest and she was actually, was she 18? I think she's an 18-year-old girl, thank God. But she's also like being sent to this boarding school kind of thing, and he's her teacher. So it was like teacher student and a dirty priest romance, and it was like BDSM and stuff. It was really weird. Like it had such weird vibes. I read the whole thing, so I hated it less than the other one, but I was like, this was just a weird experience. So then I have this Boys of Tommen series. I have 4 books loaded for that. I have not yet read it, so I'm very interested to, because some of the people I follow online, like it's one of their favorite series. That's about all I know about it. Then I forget what this is, Kindred Curses Saga. I've not yet read this either. It's another romantasy series. Looks like there's 3 out of 4, so maybe the 4th one wasn't on KU either, but I will be reading that at some point. That'll be fun. I have a trip actually coming up next month, so assuming I don't get to any of my books before then, because I'm still working my physical books, that's probably going to be high priority for that trip. Oh, this one too, actually. Again, I don't know what's up with the art, like why some load and why some don't. Metal Slinger, I've heard such good things in like the romantasy sphere. So I'm very interested to read that book. And then Phantasma, I don't know as much, but it has a little description here, dark fantasy romance. So again, romantasy vibes, I'm interested to read that as well. Then I have this Where's Molly, which I can't remember if it's connected to her other series or if it's like a spin-off or a totally different thing, by H.D. Carlton, who wrote the Cat and Mouse duet, the like Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline books. There was another spin-off or something I read from her too. I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know. It was on KU. I think it's relatively short, so whatever, I'm interested enough. Then we have Hawk, which was one that was very popular on Book Talk and like book YouTube for a while, so I wanted to read that as well, and some other books maybe from Jessie Hall in the future. Then I have For the Fans, because this is, oh my god, what I know about this one is that it's really long and very emotional apparently, but it's also about like stepbrothers being on OnlyFans together. I don't know all the context. It sounds crazy, but yeah, I'll be reading that at some point. Then we have The Ritual, which is the first in some other, like, what it says, dark college romance. So I think it's like, again, a dark romance. From what I remember, it's like this weird vibe where like the guys are indoctrinated into like this secret society and they're called like lords or something, unless I'm mixing this up with a different romantasy series, or not romantasy, another dark romance series, but I think it's this one. And then like they get a girl, like they acquire a girl or whatever to be like theirs or whatever. I don't know, sounds weird, but it's been on my radar for a minute, so I downloaded that, haven't read it yet. And then Pen Pal, which is I think not technically a romance, but I think it's like a romantic thriller. I don't know. I think it's already been spoiled for me actually, like what the twist is, but I don't remember it concretely, so I don't know. Anyway, that's all that I have on my Kindle Unlimited. I also do have some other things that, on my Kindle Unlimited, like from the Kindle Unlimited subscription, which you see that's how it's filtered. There are other books I have on my Kindle, but these I want to go through first before going to those other books so I can get this off of airplane mode. But I don't think it'll take me too long once I sit down and do it, because I knocked out a lot of these while I was on my last trip. So I think in my trip next month, I'll at least get through that, some of the books in that trilogy, probably that one and that one, since that one's short. I don't know, we'll reassess later on. But yeah, that's that on that. Okay, I just got home from work and my package has arrived. But before we get to that, I actually over the weekend went to Barnes & Noble, and for some reason I bought more books, so this is unhinged. We'll start with the Barnes & Noble bag. So because I am like I forget what I signed up for actually, but some sort of membership situation with Barnes & Noble. Sorry if you can hear my dog click-clacking around. She's very wound up because I just got home and we haven't gone on our walk yet. There's like benefits, like certain discounts or whatever, and I get a free tote bag every month. I actually didn't want this one because orange, not my color. But I wasn't like given an option. They're just like, you're eligible for your free tote bag. I'm like, oh, okay. So here's what I bought. I love the BOGO tables where they have like buy one, get one half off. And I feel like they stopped carrying that like promotion in store for a while. And I was seeing it only on the app and online and whatever, but not in the store. But whenever I went over the weekend, I saw it in store, which is why I made 2 purchases. Oh my gosh, she's heavy. Oh my gosh, and also don't look at my nails. They are very chipped. I've been picking at them again, so we need to redo those. This, I don't know what the series is called. It says it somewhere, doesn't it? I can't pronounce that. It's the Licanius, something like that, trilogy. I own the first one right here on my bookshelf. So this is the second one, which means the urgency of reading book 1 just went up a little bit because now I own book 2. So I need to find a way to fit that onto that shelf. And then the second thing to get the BOGO promotion is this. I have seen this cover a million times. I cannot remember for the life of me what this is about, but it was just the most enticing one to me on the table. I don't know. So this is this. I also would like to fit it on the same shelf. I don't know how that's gonna go. I'm like out of room. I might need to push something down to my like thriller type of thing, but none of this quite works for that. So we'll have to rethink that situation. But that's it for the Barnes & Noble trip. Did I say that right? Barnes and Noble trip. Yeah, I did. Now I have my book of the month box. Look how big this is. I went wild. Yeah, I went wild. So I will open it with you. Okay, here's the one on top. This was one of the monthly selections. Like, I kind of described it before, but this was one of the ones to choose for the month of March. Let me remind myself what it's about. Oh my goodness, I'm so clumsy right now. So the front says, they've loved each other in 1,000 lifetimes. They've killed each other in every one. Okay, so I don't really need to read the blurb because that's kind of basically what sold me on the book. I'm like, this is intriguing. So this is gonna go on the book of the month shelf, and highly anticipated because that sounds juicy. Juicy, I don't know. Next is this Rebel Witch, which is the the second in that one that I was discussing earlier, the like Witch and Witch Hunter one, where I had so much fun with book one. I'm like, I need to get book two, which is why I made this box order. So this one is highly anticipated. This will probably be my next read. Right now I'm doing The Ministry of Time, which I actually read something else on my shelf before I went to that. I put off my Day of Fall Night Priory of the Orange Tree prequel because my mind was still like, I don't feel like focusing right now. So I will be coming back to that. I'm only, 50 or so pages in. But I read The Fiancé Farce, so I got through this one. It was really fun. I forget what I rated it, but basically it was like a fake dating situation where, it wasn't a fake dating situation, it was a fake engagement, obviously, Fiancé Farce, and then of course they fell in love, so it was fun, and I think that's all I read otherwise. But yeah, on The Ministry of Time, which I am having fun with, actually. I was kind of worried that I had hyped it up too much in my head, but I'm really having a good time with it so far. But yeah, excited for this one. It'll probably be next. And then the last one in the box, Kristen Hanna, The Women. So this is just one of those popular authors, and this was one of the nominations for Book of the Year. So I got this for free added on, and this is just something I've had my eye on wanting to read. Another author that's not out of my comfort zone, but in the same realm in my mind, Ellen Hilderbrand. She has these beachy vibe, Nantucket Island books that are very popular, and I've been reading some of those in audiobook format and having fun with that. So this one, I know this is very different than Ellen Hilderbrand, so I don't know why I group them in my mind, but I am interested to read this. Yeah, I think it's historical fiction, which for some reason I like. I don't know, that surprised me when I discovered that. And then what else is in here? There's a couple little sheets. Okay, so there's just this handout about the the finalist for the Book of the Year, which I got that Kristen Hanna one, and then a bookmark. So I have a little collection of all these bookmarks, and I actually really like let me show you. They have historically been these, kind of shorter and chunky, so you can see the size difference. And these are fun, but I like that they're moving to this because it's the length of the actual books that they send, so it makes more sense. And they always have a cute little quote. So this one just says, "Don't leave me in here." Oh gosh, okay. Okay, so that is all of the book stuff. Wish me luck, thoughts and prayers. No, just kidding. I am excited to continue blowing through my physical TBR. Of course, I've now added a significant amount to it, but we're gonna have fun doing it. It's gonna be good. I'll give you any updates along the way, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. My brain is exhausted after my workday today, so toodles.